What's up, average dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And before I get my hands on the rather beautiful Xiaomi 17 Pro Max, I thought we should address the comments relating to the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. I mentioned in this video that Xiaomi have copied Apple. I mean, I thought that was quite clear. However, you guys in the comments have your own views. So I want to address them. And to be clear, I'm not on anyone's side here. I think all tech companies copy each other at some point. But I'm going to state some facts. Let's go. Now, it is a stupidly sunny day here in Scotland, so I'm going to use the raw log footage so I can do some colour magic in post. Otherwise, it's just going to be way too bright and blown out. Anyway, that's something Xiaomi haven't copied from Apple. So let's get into it. The Xiaomi 17 Pro Max is a blatant copy of the Apple iPhone 17 Pro Max. Not just in look and design, but literally the name has been copied. So for those in the comments, and a lot of you are saying, no, Xiaomi didn't copy Apple. This should be the Xiaomi 16 Pro lineup, but they've skipped 16 and gone straight to 17. Xiaomi have never, ever in their history had a Pro Max variant of a phone, but they've added one this year. So I just want to address that first of all. The Xiaomi 17 Pro Max name is a blatant copy of the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Hopefully level-headed people in this video can agree with me on that. Now, in terms of design, and this is where things get slightly fishier, Xiaomi have released in the past the Mi 11 Ultra. The Mi 11 Ultra was actually the first ever Chinese phone I reviewed on the Average Dad channel. So me and Xiaomi have a certain sentimental history. And yes, that phone had a square camera plateau. The rest of it was kind of curved, the front glass was curved, the rear glass was curved, but it did have a square camera plateau. That was 5 years ago. Yes, 5 years ago. For the last 5 years, Xiaomi have avoided using a large square full back of the screen camera bump or plateau. Yet when Apple release their 17 lineup, their 17 Pro lineup, and have that full back square rectangular camera plateau, Xiaomi release theirs. Very interesting. And then of course there's the squared off flat screen design. If I handed the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max and the iPhone 17 Pro Max to anyone that doesn't know much about smartphones, do you think they would think these are the same phones? Yes, 100%. Of course, not with the rear display turned on, but these phones look bloody identical. And then there was chat about some expert out there had said it takes 6 months to design a phone from the R&D stage. Well, expert, you're actually way off. It's actually longer than that on a lot of occasions, but also they didn't have to do R&D on this because the iPhone exists. The images of the iPhone have been out there for longer than 6 months. I can assure you, Xiaomi have known what the iPhone is going to look like for probably around a year. But then here's the kicker to it all. I don't actually care. I think phone manufacturers, and I know phone manufacturers, have been copying each other since the dawn of time. It just happened. Now, has there been more blatant copying than this previously? Probably not. But still, the name Max hasn't been patented. The fact that Xiaomi want to skip the 16 and go to the 17, that's their prerogative. Some people in the comments were getting so angry about the fact that we had said that they had copied Apple. Just deal with it. They have, but it's okay. And then there's the other slight copy, in my opinion, the dynamic island. Xiaomi in their history have never had a dynamic island feature until Apple released their dynamic island. And someone had pointed out that Honor had the dynamic island first. No, absolutely not true. Sure, they had a pill-shaped camera cutout. It wasn't a dynamic island. It didn't have the functionality and features of a dynamic island. Now it does. But again, that's okay. We need to just calm down a bit and appreciate the fact that we're getting unbelievably flagship, super well built, super well engineered, great software phones for what I believe is fantastic value for money. Because you know the one area that people in the comments of the last video forgot to mention, and this would have been the biggest argument for it? Xiaomi can copy the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Xiaomi can add a rear display, yet still keep it £400 cheaper than Apple's iPhone 17 Pro Max for the Chinese version, which you can buy at the Average Dad Tech store. And for those asking, the global version will be out at some point. I would imagine in the next 2 months or so for the Pros. The Ultra is most likely going to be February of 2026. And I don't know what the Ultra looks like. Maybe there's renders out there. I don't have the time to go search. But I can assure you the Ultra will not look like the Pro Max because they have an Ultra variant, something Apple don't have. So that's why there's been a lot of people saying that Xiaomi have copied iPhone. The name, the look, the design, the feel, the software features, the control center, the dynamic island. There really is like about 10 examples of blatant copying. But so what? Life's too short. Appreciate the fact you can get the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max from my store and many other stores with all these specifications, the latest Snapdragon Elite Gen 5 chip for under £800. That's wild, folks. So again, I will have the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max in my hands in the next couple of days. Stay tuned for a lot of content on that. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. And that's it. Until next time.